Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wrestling Is Her. I'm your host, Raja, and I'm joined by former Hazuki fanboy and co-host, John.
We'll get to that later.
We'll talk about that.
I'm in mourning.
We are here on this lovely day to talk to you about Nagoya Golden Fight
Talk about a huge crowd.
2024.
Talk about huge events, some big matches.
Ridiculous matches, ridiculous outcomes, ridiculous crowd. Everything was on par for this pay-per-view, and it was incredible.
Yeah, it was huge. It was the actual largest crowd for Joshi there.
At the Dolphins Arena?
At the Dolphins Arena, 1,500 plus.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
Like, only New Japan can claim to have pulled that many people into the Dolphins Arena.
Yeah, it's awesome just to think that that's the largest Joshi crowd. It's probably one of the largest ones of the year, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, have to be.
Yeah, and I'm so proud of these girls because they not only came out here to do, like, a pay-per-view, they hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
From start to finish. This was such a good show.
It was.
It was one of the best pay-per-views of the year.
Yeah.
Because normally, as we talk about, you have like the first half of the card, Stardom pay-per-view, and then you get to like, all right, this is where we turn it up.
Yeah.
That was not the case here.
I mean, you could essentially not watch the first half and not be missing much story.
Right.
Normally.
But this is you gotta see the whole show essentially.
Yeah. I mean, don't get it twisted. It's still
there's a match or two here and there.
I mean, there's still layers, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They still build up to the crazy stuff. But they did such a great job with pacing and like moving things to the right places, and I was so impressed.
Yeah, me too. Pleasantly surprised with several things. I mean, even if we talk commentary.
Oh, man. The English commentary for Nagoya Golden Fight was top tier. Having Walker Stewart there, having Tom with him.
Do you want to give him a double chef?
And even having Waka Tsukiyama there at the end. Yes.
Ready?
Chef's kiss.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Stereo
beautiful
chef.
Work. I loved the English commentary, and that's a hard bar to hit for me because I prefer my Joshi commentary free usually.
Me
so
too.
I can just watch the wrestling, but they added so much to the show, and I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm excited that they're going to be sticking around for the big shows for the rest of the year and onward.
A very critical person. Like, you guys don't get to hear it because she's also a very publicly positive person, right?
Yes.
So I get to live any negativity. That's my job is I become you. I'm the crowd. I'm the public for Raja's negativity in the moment.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. The negativity is small. It's like little things that I'm just nitpicking at.
Just criticisms. She don't want the world to know how crazy she is.
Right.
So I get to hear those, which is fine. But so the commentary, I'm always worried about it because there are some commentators, we won't say names.
Right.
But there's some that really get under her skin. Now there's some...
Because they don't know the product very well.
There's some that should get under her skin that just make her laugh, like someone that says MF or no, God damn it. There's
Valiant Aki on commentary is another story entirely because he's just hilarious.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it.
He says GD like 600 times during a match.
Like he's breathing, right?
It's
like
amazing.
It's air. But this one, I mean, pretty much you were just like, oh my God, yeah. And you were tweeting out early.
It
you
was
were like,
smooth as hell.
This is great. And I think
sounded great.
They only missed a couple of signature moves.
There were a few here and there, but you work out the kinks as you go.
Yeah.
That's true for any commentary.
They knew what they were. They were just applying them to similar looking holds.
Right. Yes. They were close.
In the moment.
Yes.
In the moment. We do just as bad.
We do, and we hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't watch AEW without Tony Schiavone going off on something.
Oh, Tony Schiavone, just everything's a damn tope or...
I love Tony Schiavone. Okay.
What is it now? The tiaras?
Yeah, everything's a tiaras.
If it's anything close to a tiaras, he's like,
gosh.
yeah, there's a tiaras.
It's like the reverse Russian leg sweep. I'm sorry. Okay,
all right.
But they did so well. Okay, Walker and Tom are a great team.
Yes.
They work great together. They sound great together.
See, I already
they
knew
know
Walker
what
was
they're
good.
talking about.
Yeah, I knew Walker was good already. Tom was a surprise.
Yeah, I actually wasn't even expecting Tom to be here.
No one expects Tom.
And him on it was great because he knows Stardom,
yeah,
like inside out. So he gave a lot to the.
It was great, especially
if there's first time fans maybe tuning in for Tony Storm or something.
Yeah,
like hearing that stuff is so good for just learning
having the storylines in there. Having, move names, having signature names, having
the monikers of the girls,
real-time translations.
It's amazing. Yes, the real-time translation is always a plus.
Oh yeah, it's great. Having Waka at the end that's saying, "Yeah,
I love Waka.
Yeah, Maya-san
is dangerous.
Dangerous. Yeah,
I love her. She's amazing.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of belts. This is her favorite." Yeah.
She's a great addition.
It was just like there was something so innocent about it.
Yeah, she does.
It's just like,
great.
Aw.
It's like, oh, Waka.
Oh, Waka-chan.
She just pipes up whenever they ask her a question. I love it.
I love it too. All right.
But yes, the commentary was amazing. The ambiance was amazing. The crowd was amazing. The matches were amazing.
You know what? The crowd was big. I don't think the crowd was amazing.
Okay. The crowd could have been louder.
I thought the crowd was a bit reserved.
Yeah. There were times where they were like just not.
When they weren't reserved, it was fine. Like when they were, because when they got into it, geez, they got into it.
Yeah.
But there, I don't know, because the only match I really noticed it on was the Poi match, and I would be that way too.
Right. That one's a little hard.
Yeah, that was a hard match
because of the way it went down.
Okay, let's get into this thing.
All right, let's just start talking. Yes, let's get into it. Starting with the pre-show match, which was a 5-way battle royal for the next High Speed Championship challenge. And this match included Rana Yagami, Momo Kogo, Yuna Mizumori, Hina, and Koguma. And out of all the winners I picked on this night, I think this is the one I'm the most proud of because it's the most ridiculous one.
Yeah, it's the one that you kind of picked as a joke.
I did, yes. But this match started with Yuna trying to be a bit of a goober like she is. She does her little thing in the middle of the ring and they all just make her leave. We thought she was eliminated at first because she went over the top rope.
She was eliminated.
They low-bridged her out of the ring and we were like, is that it? Is she gone?
Maybe you can't eliminate yourself.
But she came back, so she was not eliminated.
I wanted some clarification on that.
That would be nice.
So if you're not thrown, and there's a lot
physically thrown out of the ring.
Yeah, but still, it's like if you went over the top. Mm-hmm. I thought it was still a rule that you went over the top.
I thought so too, and they definitely low-bridged her over the top.
Because if that wasn't the case, how would we have half the finishes, like where people get out of the way and like the big guy goes and goes over the top rope?
It was weird, but regardless, she was not eliminated at that point. She got back in, but before that,
a foul.
Stars and God's Eye had a little back and forth because you got Rana and Hina on one side and Momo and Koguma on the other side. So they're working together. Then everything breaks down as it does when it's every woman for themselves. Koguma tried to pin Momo Kogo and then everyone decided to team up on Koguma because she's the high-speed genius. She's the favorite in this match, right? It's a high-speed challenge match. So when when Hina got her in her Gato clutch, everyone else laid on top of Koguma to make sure she could not kick out. So Kuma was the first to be eliminated, which is smart from the rest of the competitors, I think. Following that, Hina got eliminated next. Then Rana got the pin on Momo Kogo to eliminate her. And then we had Rana and Yuna left. They're going at it. Rana throws a hell of a leg lariat in this match. But Yuna Mizumori was able to get her Superman pin on Rana Yagami for the win and the right to challenge Mei Seira for the high speed title.
I honestly thought that Rana was going to kick out.
Yeah, me too. I was like, hey, maybe Rana's going to get a high speed championship match.
Which I wouldn't be complaining about it. It'd just be, I don't know.
All of this was weird.
It was weird.
For the high speed division. I know it's trying to do some new things, get some new people in there. I mean, you got Neo Genesis who's full of high-speed wrestlers, but they're all looking at bigger titles right now. Yeah. So you got to have people going for the high-speed title.
I know, but I would prefer it be high-speed wrestlers myself.
Same. Yuna did say she wants to show her own version of high-speed wrestling like Saki Kashima. And as we know, Saki Kashima is a low-speed wrestler in her own words. So it'll be interesting to see.
Maybe it'll be silly speed.
Maybe.
Yeah.
it's jungle speed.
Fruit speed?
Pineapple speed.
Yeah, pineapple speed.
Later in the night, Mei Seira did say that she never looked at Yuna Mizumori in the high speed division, so she's like, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, none of us do, May.
No, we don't. But this match was fine. It was your normal pre-show match. It was like 3 stars, you know?
Yeah, it was actually
funny.
I mean, 3 stars is big for a pre-show match.
It is, but it had five people in there doing their things.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad, no.
Yeah, there was no like Screwy McDuck kind of mess up.
It was fine, and Yuna Mizumori came out with the win.
There you go.
To kick off the actual show, we started with the Future of Stardom Championship match. Miyu Amasaki versus Rina, who had, at this point, defended the Future of Stardom Championship 12 times. This would be her 13th defense. And she'd held the belt for over 500 days. Ridiculous. The amount of intrigue and just legacy that Rina has brought to the Future of Stardom title has been amazing in her run. To the point where they've started featuring the title on pay-per-views rather than just wrestling for it at New Blood, which is amazing.
She made the title. It's one of those times, you know, the Joshi makes the belt. Yeah. And this is one of those times that really, it's a prestigious belt. I joke about it being the most prestigious belt in the Fed.
Yeah.
Jokingly.
That's what Rina wants it to be.
but damn if it's not close.
Yeah, and I mean, you got to think it's the Future of Stardom belt, so whoever holds it is important to the future of Stardom. So
this time in particular,
absolutely.
Let me just say again, there's not much better than her.
There's not.
At the age, at the experience level, and what she's been given.
Yeah,
she's really been able to turn, you know, prelim matches or New Blood matches, first time matches. Think about how many of her defenses were first time matches.
Yeah, and she's so good.
I dare say that 90% were the first time.
Probably.
And I can tell you from being a wrestler, the first time is like the first time at anything, pal.
It's difficult.
You're excited, you move too quick, and you leave a lot to be wanted for the next time.
Yes, but Rina is such a pro and so smooth. Yeah. She knows what she's doing when she gets in that ring.
She is a beast.
She's absolutely the Future of Stardom. She's going to be a faction leader one day, a big champion. She's going to be around forever because she's 17 years old. I know that and I'm telling you right now, she is going to be a long time white belt champion. I could totally feel it, yes. But this match was no less incredible than any of Rina's matches. In fact, it might be the best Future of Stardom title match that we've seen. And that's coming off of an amazing match just last weekend with Rina. And Miyu Amasaki came in here to prove something because she's lost to Rina before. She tried to get the Future of Stardom championship, but could not do it. And she's running out of time because she's over 20 and she's coming up fast on that 3-year mark in her career. So she came in here swinging forearms that sounded like the hardest forearms she's ever thrown in her life.
It was like sledgehammers. You know when, like in the Rocky movies, when he punches the sides of beef?
Yes.
If you took a big sledgehammer and you hit the beef, that's the sound. If I had to go make an old radio, and you're like, okay, guys, you have to repeat that sound. Use whatever you want. I'd be like, bring a side of beef and a big sledgehammer.
Right, yeah. That's what it sounded like.
That's what it sounded like.
It was so hard. Rina, her answer to everything in the early goings of the match was just boot to face. Like, big boot to Miyu's face over and over again. But Miyu was not deterred. She got out of the hydrangea. She kicked out of those nasty double knees from the top. She got a near fall with a quick roll up. Even the Glory Special couldn't keep Miyu down, which is almost insane. Rina got to the top rope and Miyu followed her up there and got that top rope DDT. She hits a couple more DDTs, all the DDTs, and then the Tensai, but Rina kicked out of the first Tensai, which is, I think, the first time I've ever seen someone kick out of that move.
To my recollection.
To my recollection, yes. Rina hits a desperate jackknife pin trying to get it, and then that crazy crucifix, thing that she does.
Love that crazy crucifix thing.
But Miyu kicks out, and she hits more massive DDTs, including like the one where you get their legs up on your legs and they're just all packaged up and you do the DDT.
Oh, yeah.
She hits the Tensai again, gets the 1, 2, 3 to become the new Future of Stardom champion.
There you go. Way to go, Kevin.
It was amazing. The way this match was laid out was so good. The pacing was amazing. Just the feeling of how desperately they both wanted to win, but Miyu's desperation and determination, I guess, outweighed Rina's just enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I notes wise for me, speaking of the best Future Stardom defense, it's the Little Inaba match.
Oh, yeah. Azusa Inaba versus Rina was really good. God, they were all so good.
I know, but that's...
The Aya Sakura match.
I would like to go back and watch again, but I really think the Little Inaba...
There was one against Miran that was like the young girl from Wave. Okay. That was so good.
Can I change my pick?
You want the Miran match?
Yeah, I'm going to change. Okay, you know what? We got to do it.
Are we going to do Rina's Future Stardom belt run?
Listen. There is things to be said for what we wanted to put on Patreon, right?
Yes.
Covering, going on a watch along even.
Yeah, of all 13 matches.
Yeah, of all 13 Rina defenses. I like it.
I guess 14 if you count the match where she won the belt.
Well, we can count that. I just think it would be a cool journey for her.
It is. It would be cool to go back and like watch in succession how she...
progresses,
and builds that belt.
Just her moveset, her confidence, calling a match.
Absolutely.
You know, that's...
How many times she asked for the claps.
And I will say one thing here. In the commentary, English commentary, again, in this one, they mentioned something. It's just an observation. But it's like, well, there's no faction members out here from Hate.
Right.
There's never faction members out there from Hate.
No.
She doesn't do the Hate thing.
No, never.
In her title defenses... Rina does not rely on outside interference. Now, think about that for a moment. Everybody in Hate relies on outside interference.
Absolutely.
It's part of being in Hate. It's part of being an Oedo Tai before Hate.
Yeah.
And she didn't do that. She always has been like this pure champion. Like, even as far as cheating doesn't happen.
Yeah, no. Her primary goal was to elevate this belt and make it the most important belt in Stardom.
Yeah, it makes her my hands down favorite member of Hate.
Yes.
But it's funny that she lives in that sphere. Mm-hmm. And Buddy, she does get involved in others.
Oh yeah, if she's ringside for somebody else's match, she'll happily like pass a bat or throw someone into chairs.
Until they changed over from Oedo Tai to Hate, our favorite thing about Rina, other than her amazing wrestling, is asking for the claps.
Yes, she asks the crowd to clap for her constantly in matches.
If you go back,
she's so funny.
Especially in Oedo Tai. If you go back, we almost had like a little shot game of how many times, and I think we've counted upward to 20 before.
It got a little ridiculous.
It's always been funny.
Anytime there was like silence, she'd go for it.
This match does everything. Mm-hmm. It clicks just about every box.
It does.
And is amazing.
And it definitely shows the growth that we've seen from Miyu Amasaki in the last year.
Exactly.
Amazingly well.
And that's what I was getting to, was the fact that you and I have had a journey with Miyu Amasaki.
Yes.
Where we have went from, my God, she does a lot of DDTs, to your epiphany during the one match. I don't recall which match that was, but you were like, oh, wow.
I think it was the Starlight Kid match where she was working the neck the whole time.
Yeah, you know what it was. And you were just like, those DDTs are at a level.
Yeah, like she does the simple one, then she'll slowly ramp it up until she has to get to that crazy one.
Right. And you also... Because my thing was, I'm a traditionalist, right? But I'm not a yell at the sky traditionalist.
Right.
So my thing is like, the DDT's a finish.
Right.
But if it was a point you made, you're like, yeah, if you're a 285 pound, 6'3" person.
If you're putting that much weight on someone's head, maybe.
And you drop that around someone's neck, probably dead.
Yes.
But if you're a $105 and you're doing some in a high speed capacity without the tighter grip, and you're still working the head.
Right. It's more of a passing like bonk on the head.
and you know what? I was sold. I wasn't sold on that because you came up with that before the Starlight Kid match. And then I was like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, it makes sense.
This makes sense, and I love the journey. I love the transformation in her personally.
Yeah,
so much.
She seems so
confidence.
much more. Yeah, more confident, more sure of herself in matches and everything.
So now she's a champ, man, and
she's the future of Stardom champion.
Let's see what that looks like.
That's a big, heavy weight to carry for anyone taking it off Rena. Because Rena has made it like a must-see belt, and you can't drop the ball on that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what happens. Rena said something interesting after the match.
Yes, she did. She did say that she wants to face Miyu Amasaki again in the future in a singles match, even if it's not for the future of Stardom Championship.
It's that asterisk that was interesting to me.
Yeah, so I guess maybe she doesn't expect Miyu to hold it for long. Maybe she can't challenge for it again.
Or she's past that.
I think she's past it. We've thought she was past it for a while. I mean, even though we wanted her to win this match.
We can't be the only ones. One of the things I loved about the English commentary was hearing things that we have had in our... Because when you watch wrestling that has no commentary, and you watch everything, you create your own storyline sometimes.
You gotta just come up with stuff in your
You
head.
have your own personalities in there. You have your own fun things.
Yeah.
And there's observations.
Yeah.
Observations that become facts inside of your bubble.
Right.
Okay, so you have to be careful when you do a podcast because you try not to make your observation facts.
Yeah, you have to be like, I think, or
exactly.
This is what I speculate.
But listening to the boys, we were pleasantly surprised with how many things they had pointed out that we already believed. Yeah,
it was really cool. And seeing Rena after matches, like after championship matches, she's always so nice. Like for Rena, like before a match, she'll call you all the names in the book and just rant and rave. But after a match, she's always very respectful.
Always.
And it's really nice. So they did say that now Miyu can officially proclaim herself as the Stardom Supernova rather than the Azure Supernova that she was previously.
What's the star rating?
4.5 stars for this match, I think. This was such a good match.
Yeah.
And its placement on the card was perfect to get everyone revved up and ready to go, I think, for this show.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a
great opener.
It was a second half level match.
It was. I was expecting it to be lumped in with the rest of the championship matches, but I'm glad it wasn't. I'm glad it was here.
Me too.
Because it allowed it to stand out and shine for what it is, which is the future of this company is very bright.
You gotta wear shades.
Following that amazing match, we had another special singles match, not for a title, with Saya Kamitani taking on Sayaka Kurara. And this was bred not that long ago at Cork and Hall, like a week ago, when Sayaka Kurara got a pin over Saya Kamitani in a multi-man match.
Right.
But it's a pin nonetheless from Sayaka Kurara on Saya Kamitani. It was mind-blowing when it happened. We freaked out. I think everyone freaked out. The crowd freaked out. It was amazing.
It's what Japan is. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's one of the things I love about Japanese wrestling in general is the multi-mans and the preview matches. Pins matter.
Absolutely.
So if you're a champion and you lose in a 6-man...
And you take the pin.
You're still going to defend that belt.
Yeah.
So... that makes everything so much better.
It does, because it makes sense.
So this pin that happened against Sayaka Kamitani...
Yes. It allowed Sayaka the chance to face her one-on-one to show her chops.
Yeah, big time.
So this match started with Saya kind of allowing Sayaka to have a go at her at first with a few forearms and stuff, but that didn't last long before Saya was throwing Sayaka outside of the ring and into the chairs because it's a hate match. So
yeah, you had to have
the chair shots, I guess. I mean, we didn't see it with Rena, but
right.
Back inside the ring, Saya's all over her. This match was majority Saya Kamitani.
Oh yeah,
as expected.
We were watching how Kurara could sell,
but there was a really great moment when Saya was just beating the crap out of Sayaka, where Cosmic Angels, who were all outside of the ring for Sayaka, started banging on the ring, and the crowd immediately starts clapping and chanting Kurara. It was awesome. Just everyone getting behind her.
And we talked about the multi-man win, and the English commentary did touch on this, but one of the things that made that such an amazing moment, and if you haven't seen it, go out of your way to go back and watch this event, right?
Yes.
So the crowd blew the hell up.
Yeah, as soon as she got the pin, the crowd in Corkin Hall, this was the packed Corkin Hall at the end of September, just completely lost their minds, started chanting her name. It was beautiful.
Yeah, it really was. It was something that obviously they've been on the same journey as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And that we affectionately call them our babies, right?
Yes, the babies of
Cosmic Angels. We love them so much. But, this was such a moment, and to carry on in this match, you still felt that what if.
Yeah, it's like a continuation of that win just being injected through the fans into Sayaka Kurara. So she starts powering up in this match. She throws a sleeper hold on Saya Kamatani. She had it on for a while, trying to get Saya to tap. She was able to get her drop kicks from all four corners. Saya's doing her thing, taunting the whole time. And then she picks Sayaka up to do a Star Crusher, but Sayaka reverses it into a small package, and it was the smoothest counter. Everybody needs to know now that the Star Crusher can be so easily countered into a small package. But that was a near fall. They got up. Sayaka hits 2 Tokimeki spears on Saya, then a Tokimeki cutter, but it can't get the job done. She does more crazy forearms, just trying something, anything, a few roll-ups. But Saya Kamatani, being Saya Kamatani, she hit Sayaka with a thrust kick, a heel kick, and then her tornado kick all in a row. There's one more desperate, just crazy pin from Sayaka that doesn't do anything for her. She gets picked up into the Star Crusher. 1, 2, 3, Saya Kamatani wins the match.
Yeah, and what a match.
It was crazy. To watch it, the way it built up and the way that Sayaka went from just getting stomped around and thrown around in the ring to just firing up and showing this passion and this heart that she has. Even though she didn't get the win, it was obvious that there's a fire there that can't be put out.
Yeah, listen, she's got something about her. There's an it quality to her that
absolutely.
She doesn't have to be boisterous. She doesn't have to come out and have the swagger of Arena, right?
Right.
She is almost her attraction. For the fans, I think is more the fact that she is the girl next door.
Yes,
absolutely, and
yes,
she is almost understated.
Yeah.
And I love that about her.
Right. She's very casual, very normal girl. She's not ethereal Natsupoi, She's
right.
she's just Sayaka. And we love her to death for it. But seeing her fire up in a match, you just want to root for her.
Oh, yeah.
She's the perpetual underdog.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a good way to put it. And we need those in wrestling. And she is definitely the Mikey Whipwreck right now.
She's amazing.
Of this place. And
those spears were brutal in this match.
They were.
The best ones we've seen in a while, I think.
They were the best ones since she first started.
She really laid them in.
'Cause
2 in a row.
She kind of turned that into just another, hip toss or something. And
right.
These meant something.
When she hit the cutter, I was convinced. I was like, oh man, she's gonna win this match.
I think we have to say a lot for Saya Kamatani on this because she was very giving in this whole thing.
Absolutely.
And it takes two to dance, right? So I really think that her facials and her being upset and really elevated Kurara.
Absolutely. And aside from the throwing into the chairs at the beginning of the match, there wasn't any more cheating. She didn't try the feet on the ropes thing again, which was crazy.
And speaking of elevation, there was something weird happen at the end of this one too.
Absolutely. So Saya seemed impressed with Sayaka Kurara, who wouldn't be, but while they were in the ring, she whispered something in Sayaka's ear. Why does they keep doing that?
It's dirty.
I hate it. They're playing demonic telephone in the ring with everyone. It's annoying. I want to know what they're saying.
It's dirty and it's their thing.
It is.
And I really want to know what they're whispering, right? Is
there some grand conspiracy going around in Stardom to take out hate and they're just passing the word on through all these other factions? They got Natsupoi with Tekla.
Yeah.
Now is Cosmic Angel somehow roped into this? I
don't know. It's interesting. And if you go back to all the whispers, it is very...
Yeah.
There's a theme, huh?
It is. It's weird because you had... I think it all really started when Tam was whispering in Starlight Kid's ear before she got kicked out of Oedo Tai.
Right.
Then you had Momo whispering to Saya Kamatani, and we see where that ended up. And now you've got, I mean, Tekla whispering to Poi probably had something to do with just her mind games. Yeah. I don't know. They never said anything about it. And now Sayaka's been pulled into the whispering game.
It's something. The whisper game is going.
Oh, I just want to know what they're talking about. What's going on?
I think we're going to find out. But
I don't want Sayaka to go dark side.
No, I don't see her dark side. I don't know how that would work.
No, I don't think it would, because it takes away all that charm we just talked about of her just being sweet little girl next door.
If she has it in her, though, if she has that dog in her,
I'm sure she does. After seeing this match, like she probably has.
I'm talking about just that attitude. If she really has that dog in her, she gets out there and just starts laying it into people.
Yeah, that would. I mean, it would be. I think she'd be scary as a heel. But this match, I would give it another 4.5 stars. Yeah. Just watching it and the feeling you get when you watch it just lends itself to an amazing match.
We rate these within Joshi. We rate these within what we're seeing and in the context of what the match is. This is a young girl match, essentially.
Essentially, yes.
But it was so much more.
Yes, and we rate them immediately, when we're in the feeling of the match. So
and we don't.
This is our true immediate feelings and reactions.
And we don't go back from that either.
No, we never back down. Never give up, never back down. Following this match, we had a little break from the crazy single matches because it was time for the 12-man. Rion, Hanako, Waka Tsukiyama, Xena, Mina Shirakawa, and Maika, all of EXV, versus Ruaka, Konami, Momo Watanabe, Natsuko Tora, Zap, and Dump Matsumoto.
Oh, hallowed be her name.
Oh, Hate and the Evil Alliance teaming up, like basically mirrors of each other.
Yeah, you like to think that it's definitely the successor of Evil Alliance in so many ways, right?
Yeah, I mean, Natsuko Tora is like the spiritual child of Dump Matsumoto.
I mean, it's even in the cartoony, like character-driven way.
Yeah. It's very much the same.
Chaos.
The face paint and everything.
Yeah.
I love it, though.
I do too.
This match was about what you would expect from a 12-man match that's featuring Dump Matsumoto at this point in her life and career. There was a lot of craziness. There were kendo sticks, trash cans. Everyone's getting thrown into chairs.
Obviously, Dump wouldn't hit any tiaras, but...
No. Mina Shirakawa took, like, most of the heat in this match.
Yes.
She got the crap beat out of her I think Dump really enjoyed beating on Mina Shirakawa.
I liked watching Dump's eyes as she was watching the ladies at the first. Like, you could tell who she was going to beat on.
Oh, yeah. She had eyes for Rion. Yeah. Like, I think Rion was the first person she went after.
I thought she was going to just stick a damn fork in her and cook her.
She's like, oh, young girl.
Look at that little young peachy girl. That's yum yum.
Dump out here terrorizing both commentary tables, hitting Ando, the ring announcer, with the kendo stick.
And I love Dump so much because you see her like on the event with Netflix and without makeup or anything, she's just smiling. She's sweetest old granny you've ever seen.
But then she gets in there with the spiky hair.
Yeah,
and
you talk
the
about
makeup.
Murder grandma. I
love her so much.
Oh yeah, this is
There
great.
was a point in this match where Mina tried to German suplex Dump Matsumoto, and Dump just fell on top of her. She's like, no, I don't think so.
Yeah,
just crushed her.
And this is another reason we need like the big Hall of Fame presentation.
Yeah.
That I don't care what exists out there already. We need one now that the movie's out because Netflix is so huge.
Absolutely.
And everybody in the world has seen this and they're excited. I see so many videos now of compilations. Like when it was so hard to find Joshi stuff, now everybody's digging it up.
I love seeing the videos on Twitter where they line up the Queen of the Villains footage with the actual thing that happened and it matches perfectly.
They did such a great job.
Yes, they absolutely knocked it out of the park.
And respected pro wrestling at the same time.
Oh, God. It's so good. I want to watch it again.
I do too. I want to watch it again.
But this match was ended by Natsuko Tora using a Death Valley bomb or Death Valley driver, one of the two. It was a Death Valley something. And they got the win, Hate and the Evil Alliance. And Natsuko Tora actually said that they were not done yet and invited Dump Matsumoto and Zap to return to team with them at Korakuen Hall at the end of the month on October 27th.
Yeah, that would be fun.
So Dump's going to be back in Korakuen Hall.
It doesn't bother me.
No, me either.
It's just as much as any other Hate match.
Yeah.
When they're all out there together, it's a throwaway match.
Pretty much.
Because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and EXV didn't have anything big going on right now at this pay-per-view, so...
So if you want to throw them out there together, but give me some dump and get a payday...
That just elevates it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was a fun match. It wasn't... We didn't rate it because it's not really a match. It's more for the spectacle of like, let's hit everyone with weapons. There was trash can usage and all that, you know?
Yeah, it's not a rateable match.
There were a few spots. I mean, Micah and Hanako did get to hit their vertical suplex into the back breaker on Hanako's knee, which is crazy to me that they do that.
Yes.
I'm really hoping for a Micah-Hanako team up in Tag League.
We should
kind of a run back of Micah and Megan from last year.
We were hoping we were going to find something out about that. Unfortunately, we don't know yet.
It's okay. We still have time.
I'd say press conference will be the thing.
But after this match, we did find out some fun stuff.
We did.
They once again talked about Tag League, which starts at the end of the month, October 26th, and running through December 8th. So it's a good chunk of the rest of the year will have Goddess of Stardom Tag League action. Yeah. But then they got on to talking about Historic Crossover, which is on November 17th. Woo! And at first, it seemed like they were just gonna, run through it because they went through that and then they went on to the Wrestle Kingdom week, which we've talked about before, talking about all those shows. And then they circled back and they showed Zack Sabre Jr., the G1 winner.
Yeah, you bollocks and one.
And then they showed Micah, the 5-star Grand Prix winner.
Yes.
And then they showed Starlight Kid. And then they showed El Desperado.
Despy, baby.
So we have our first official match for Historic Crossover, which will be Zack Sabre Jr. and Micah teaming up to take on Starlight Kid and El Desperado, the best crossover team to exist.
Dude, this is like such a great match.
I'm so excited.
It's such a great match. And it could also be, your next red belt champion versus your next white belt champion.
It could be. I mean, Starlight's made it very clear where she's going.
Just throwing it out there, and we'll get that.
El Desperado coming back to the ring for this match. So excited. I love Starlight Kid and El Desperado together. And I hope we see a double numero dos.
And we love ZSJ so much.
Oh my God.
So, he'll have George Michael there with him.
Yes. ZSJ and Micah are not a team I would have imagined because I would have thought they'd put someone more technical like Zach with him, but the fact that they're both the big tournament winners of the year makes it make total sense.
And if you have a friend who has been on the New Japan roster for a long time and sends you cell phone videos of Zach drunk on a train,
you think they drink? They're going to go drinking together.
It makes sense knowing Micah, just from a drinking aspect.
They're going to be a hell of a team.
They are.
That's a scary team to face.
They are a very scary team because you have the Bruiser and you have the Cruiser.
Absolutely.
So it's really cool.
It's the perfect, well-rounded tag team.
Yeah. That rarely would they be loser.
Yes. And after that, when we found out that match, all of a sudden, there was some music play, and Great-O-Khan made an appearance at the pay-per-view.
Yep.
Came out to the ring.
Got some gawk.
With his King of Pro Wrestling title that he currently holds. And he threw out an open challenge for a Historic Crossover to face a Stardom wrestler for the King of Pro Wrestling title. Just not to team up, not to be like, hey, come fight with me. No, to face a Stardom wrestler for the King of Pro Wrestling title.
Which is also, you talk about historic.
Yeah.
Okay. You talk about historic. You got to think of this. This is New Japan.
Right. New Japan Pro
Wrestling. It was hard
Wrestling.
enough to get girls in the damn locker room.
Right. To get on the card.
Now we're going to have man versus woman.
Yes. And albeit King of Pro Wrestling matches are silly gimmick matches.
Yeah.
As a rule.
Yeah.
So there's probably not going to be a lot of like punching each other in the face in this match, but I'm so curious to see who's going to take him up on this offer.
I'm curious because they're going to win.
Yeah, I'm ready for the Queen of Pro Wrestling.
It's going to happen.
Get it on a girl.
I have a feeling that we're going to get this belt in Stardom for a while.
Ooh, I would love that.
And it's going to
have some silly gimmick matches in Stardom.
So who do you put?
The first person that came to mind for whatever reason was Xena. And I don't know why, but I think that would be really fun. But I know you had an immediate reaction as well of who you thought would come out to challenge
I
him.
don't remember. Who was my immediate? Hanako?
You said Shiri at first. You said Shiri should challenge him. But Hanako would be great. Natsupoi in there facing a guy like to get some revenge. I don't know. It could be literally anyone.
It could be. And I would like to pull some Sendai girls in and it'd be even easier.
And I don't even know if this is going to be one-on-one, if it's going to be more of like, because he did say that he'll face anyone. Like, it could be like multiple girls teaming up.
No, we can't do that.
But I hope it's a one-on-one, just a crazy gimmick match with some random Stardom girl getting the win over Great O'Khan. I would love to see it.
So I either want it to be someone who obviously is strong and big, like a Hanako, or someone so small like Rion.
That she could just slip through.
That it's just funny.
Right.
And, honestly, thinking of that now, it's the perfect match. Mei Sarah.
Oh, Mei Sarah would be awesome. She could get around him, no problem.
It would be like the speed versus the power.
Absolutely. And
she could do some amazing things, especially with a platform like Great O'Khan to jump off of and work with.
Right. That would be awesome too. And then you have to think about the match type scenario where maybe someone from Hate, like Natsuka Tora or Saya Kamitani, or somebody that works with weapons regularly, or
Suzu.
Momo Watanabe.
Suzu could deathmatch you.
Suzu Suzuki. Oh my, there's so many great options.
Because he's not, he's not shy about doing deathmatch type stuff.
Right.
You could totally have her out there just.
That would be a cool belt to put on Suzu, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Suzu may be my pick.
Suzu's a great pick. I agree. And she's brash enough to come out and be like, I'll fight you.
Yeah.
Let's go.
The promos alone would be priceless.
That would be amazing. I think I'm gonna change my vote to Suzu. Yes,
I want Suzu.
Suzuki for this match for sure. So following all those wonderful announcements, we got into some craziness because the next match was another special singles match where Starlight Kid took on Hazuki.
Hold on a second.
I need a deep breath.
Just hold on a second. Okay. I'm not even the one that's going to talk about this, but let me tell you, if there's ever a match of ours that we review that needs to be remembered.
Oh my God, this match. And it's only the beginning. It's only the start of something.
All right, give it to me.
All right. Starlight versus Hazuki. This was born from Hazuki's recent attitude, where she was upset that she didn't win the Wonder of Stardom championship in her 6th defense. And the commentary team did say that these two had talked about unofficially making this a number 1 contenders match for the Wonder of Stardom championship. That was never made official, but these two are two of the top in that division going for the white belt. So it makes sense. Whoever wins this match should probably face Natsupoi at some point for the Wonder of Stardom title.
Yeah, absolutely.
So they get in here. Starlight Kid has not been a fan of Hazuki in this time period because of her attitude. And apparently at the press conference, she talked about how she hasn't been a fan of Hazuki for quite a while because she sees her earlier retirement in 2019 as a sign of weakness. So Starlight's like, I don't know if you even deserve to step in the ring with me, which are big words to say to any wrestler. So Hazuki came in here she's mad now rather than sad, I think. And Starlight's just in here like, oh, I don't even care about you as a wrestler at this point. I don't think you have what it takes to beat me. So they get in here and just immediately hit the ground and start wailing on each other.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Immediately. They roll out of the ring. Starlight throws Hazuki into the chairs. They do like a back and forth. And then Hazuki returns the favor to Starlight Kid. They get back in the ring. And Starlight Kid's set up perfectly for the boot washes, but as soon as Hazuki goes to do it, Starlight grabs her foot and stops her, and she puts her down by working on her knee and hits the hardest shotgun dropkick I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, man.
Like, it's short range, Hazuki's sitting, Starlight hits the ropes and just bam, right in the back, and it's so hard. She hits some boot washes on Hazuki. Then it gets reversed. Hazuki gets her boot washes, which she's super proud of. And she's just standing on Starlight Kid. Then Starlight gets one back on her. She sinks in a deep clover leaf that's on for quite a while, working on that knee some more. And Hazuki's able to get out of that. So Starlight Kid just climbs on top of her and is smacking her in the face, like taunting her. Like, hey, are you even here? What's going on? Are you going to fight me?
It's an amazing moment.
They start fighting back and forth. Hazuki tries to hit her forearm spot. You know, the massive forearms where she hits you to the ground. Starlight's fighting back. She's just like yelling.
Yeah.
Standing there, taking these forearms. But Hazuki eventually gets her to the ground. Then she takes her to the ropes and starts tearing the eye hole of Starlight Kid's mask. And this is where the scary part of Hazuki really starts coming out, because as she's doing this, the crowd starts booing, right? Because that's a no-no in any wrestling. You don't touch someone's mask.
Especially in Japan and Mexico.
Yes. So they're booing at her, and she boos back at them.
Yeah.
Like a little punk. I was like, what?
The thumb down, the basically tongue out kind of thing.
Oh my God. So as soon as Starlight's out of this position, she takes her gloves off. Like the arm part of her gear, she just tears that shit off,
beautiful.
Throws it out of the ring. She's so mad right now, and she starts giving Hazuki some more slaps, and then she hits a foot stomp that looks like it freaking hurt.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was massive.
And then, oh God, okay. Hazuki grabbed hold of Starlight Kid's ears on her mask and hits a headbutt that was so nasty and loud, and I just cringed so hard just thinking about it. But Starlight Kid gives it back. They headbutt way too many times in this match.
It was disgusting, man.
That sound is my least favorite sound in all of wrestling.
Yeah, this was sick. This was absolutely sick. This was two coconuts hitting really hard.
Yeah,
and
it was nasty.
It had the thump,
they smacked heads like multiple times too. They didn't give up on it.
It was disgusting. I mean, and it honestly, listen, I did death matches. I did crazy, stupid stuff I wish I had never done. I pay for it to this very day. But knowing what we know now.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just unnecessary. Even if you took that little part out, it wouldn't take anything away from the match.
Even taking just a full straight-on punch to my nose would be better than taking that.
Yeah, I wish headbutts would go away forever. This devolved into some submission work where Hazuki put on her crossface, but then she wrapped Starlight Kid up completely with her arms and legs and everything, and Starlight really had to fight to get out of this position. Hazuki ended up in a single leg crab, which allowed Starlight to get to the ropes, and then Starlight sunk in her Black Tiger leg kill with the arm trapped on Hazuki, which she was able to get out of. There's a couple of big moves from the top from Starlight, the turning splash, then a moonsault which landed on Hazuki's knees, and then Hazuki goes for the Hazuki straw, but Starlight put on the brakes for another near fall. She hits her flying knees to the back, which is another massive move that Starlight does that just looks like it hurts every single time. Another moonsault, this one hits for the near fall. Starlight attempts a star suplex, but Hazuki reverses into a release German suplex. She goes up for her presumably her vertical drop brainbuster, but Starlight Kid rolls down with the Momo latch and is able to hold Hazuki down for the 3 count and the win in this match.
Yeah, it was very much a slip over.
It was.
Which I think it needed to be in this match because, as you said, this is just the beginning.
It is.
But damn it, if it wasn't everything.
It was. It was so fast paced. The way I read it is about how fast it happened. It was so fast paced. They went back and forth a million times. There were high spot moves. Starlight Kid wasn't able to get her normal highest moves. She wasn't able to get the star suplex or anything like that. It was just that Momo latch, which she learned from Momo, that she rolled her up into and was just able to sit down on her long enough to get that 3 count.
And it felt like, what?
Yeah, it was weird because you're watching the match, you're all into it, and then the 1, 2, 3 happens, and you're like, wow, that was fast.
and I love that because I think it leaves something in the tank, right?
Absolutely.
It leaves something in there, but God, this match.
Yeah, because she didn't put Hazuki down by any means, because Hazuki, from the post-match angle, was still full of piss and vinegar. She was still raring to go. Then she went. Boy, howdy, she went.
Listen, if this isn't a heel turn, and it's such a weird dynamic.
It is. It's so weird.
Because she didn't leave stars.
No. So Hazuki, she keeps brawling with Starlight. After the match, she pushes Koguma off her when Kumis tries to stop her. She throws Barb Sasaki into the chairs so that he can't do anything. She throws Starlight Kid into the ring, pulls out a pair of scissors from under the ring apron, gets in the ring. She puts her feet on Starlight's hands when she's sitting on top of her and cuts off Starlight Kid's mask completely. Just pulls it right off of her. Thankfully, Miyu Wamasaki was there with a Neo Genesis shirt on so she could cover Starlight's face.
I don't like it because I love it, but I don't want Starlight to lose her mask. And
it feels so weird.
Maybe I'm being selfish, but I don't want her to lose her mask.
The mask is Starlight Kid. I mean, if you lose the mask, are you even Starlight Kid anymore?
I think you change your name to your real name. But, hopefully that doesn't happen. You have theories that this might turn into a mask versus hair.
It feels like it. I mean, it feels like that's where we're heading to something like that because this is, it's not over.
Think how big that is.
It's far from over.
Think how big that is. Like, if it's like a 1-4 type thing, right? If it's a massive, massive card.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, especially if Starlight goes. And there was rumors, there was talk that after this match, Starlight going toward the white belt.
Yes, and they did unofficially say that that's what they wanted out of this match, to be the number one contender. And she did say after the match that even if she's the one sitting in the ring with a towel over her face, she still won the match and she's still coming after Natsupoi.
So if she got the white belt, can you imagine coming back around to this for the white belt? And as many times as Hazuki has failed at getting the white belt, something was missing.
That craziness?
What if this is a weird way of getting around to that white belt?
So you think Hazuki wins the white belt and Starlight Kid loses the mask?
Yeah, that would be a lot that'd be a lot of suck because that would be a really short white belt reign.
It would be if it was just a couple of months. I mean, we've seen shorter. Don't get me wrong, but
we have, but you kind of want Starlight to have that long ass reign, and we want everybody to have the long ass reign.
Absolutely.
But regardless of all that, it's coming back.
Oh, we're doing way more with this. Hazuki has absolutely gone off the deep end.
Yeah.
She did say in her post-match comments that she said, I'll stay with Stars. So I guess Stars is okay with this behavior? I don't know. We haven't had an official statement from like Mayu Iwatani or anything.
So it's a weird thing. And like we talked about, everybody has that one family member that you're like kind of hesitant about eating Christmas lunch with, and they're going to be talking a different way than you. Coming. Yeah. And it feels like Hazuki's making herself that family member right now, but still in the family.
Right. Like the family still loves her. She's still part of the family, but they're just a little put off by the way she's acting.
It's just weird.
Her behavior. It is weird.
Because Stars is so babyface.
It would be cool to see her bring back the all black look while still in Stars. Like that would be so unique, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. We've wanted Hazuki to go dark side for a long time.
This isn't what we thought would happen.
No, this is definitely darker than I thought.
And I love the way that it's like you don't have to immediately jump into hate if you do something bad like this. I mean, we've seen Mayu Iwatani cheat recently.
We have.
So it's like you got a little mixing up in the factions.
Wouldn't it be badass if Stars became a heel faction?
I mean, Stars is not really...
We've joked about it forever.
They're the consummate like babyface faction. They're Stars.
Yeah.
I mean, they're the Stardom army,
Right.
And we have joked for a long time that Stars are the true heels of Stardom because they always like distract the ref and do their moves.
They're
on
the Hulk
each other
Hogans. Go back and watch a Hulk Hogan match from the 80s. Any Hulk Hogan match. And people are cheering wildly for him cheating the entire time.
Right.
Doing terrible things to his opponents. And it was always a joke then. It's a joke now. But Stars, which we tongue-in-cheek are always like, oh my God, look what they're doing.
It's amazing.
But they're baby faces.
They are. And I think it would be interesting if maybe Koguma or even Mayu some more like kind of leaned into that just to see.
I don't know how happy Koguma's going to be after.
I don't know. What's going to happen to FWC?
I mean, she's had to put up with a lot of bullshit in this friendship.
Is Tag League still happening for FWC?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm sure it is.
It'll be interesting to see, though, if they go into Tag League with differing opinions and you've got Hazuki, like, being more aggressive and almost heelish and Koguma trying to do the right thing and wrestle the right way. It might cost them a lot of matches.
I mean, it could. I'm interested to see just where this goes because it's so good.
Oh, this match in particular was amazing, which you expect out of these two wrestlers, but I'm going to give it a 4.75 because it just left that little bit that you wanted. Like, the post-match angle was elevated it to hell and back, but the quick finish and just knowing that there's more that these two can give and more we're going to get out of it.
Yeah, I think if it was a one-off like we've got coming up, not really a one-off, but you would be like, okay, this is definitely 4.75 subjective.
It's basically 5 stars.
It's us giving 5 stars.
But we wanted a little bit more.
It's like it's putting a placeholder on the 5 stars.
Right, like this will be 5 stars when they do it again.
Absolutely, because it was perfect.
When they do hair versus mask.
It was absolutely perfect. It was aggressive. It was fun. But it did leave that last little one to kick out one to, it did leave one little thing.
It did, but it was still amazing and it still was shocking. And I mean, this is all you want. Like these deep storylines that they have going on right now from the bottom of the card to the top have just been mind-blowing this year.
Nothing
and
is
they're
cold.
not stopping.
Yeah.
They're just getting deeper and deeper as we go.
It feels like every match has something.
It does. You can't really say that much for the next match, but we had a little placeholder match here, something for everyone to do with this 4-way tag. It didn't really get off the ground, so to speak. It was fine. It was a fine match.
Yeah, it was just a match.
So we had Hanan and Saida versus Lady C and Shiri versus Aya Sakura and Saori Ano versus Mei Seira and Azumi. And there were some fun spots in this match. Like there was one of those suplex spots where there's like 4 people on each side and Shiri lets go and kicks everyone on the other side.
Yes.
Like in the back so that they're able to suplex them.
Very much love that about this match was the Shiri stuff.
Yes. Saida getting carried away with her double chops where she double chopped everyone, including Hanan when she got in the ring. Poor Hanan. There was some cool spots between Hanan and Saida and Mei Seira and Azumi. It was a straight up tag team spots there for a minute.
I see your notes. Wingori versus Starbomb.
Yes, you see my Wingori versus Starbomb. I want Starbomb to be in Tag League to be a thing.
Right.
But the ending kind of focus of this match was Shiri taking on Aya Sakura in kind of one-on-one competition here. And Shiri was able to get the pin after hitting the Emerald Flosion. And Aya said after the match that she decided to be in a faction that opposes Shiri and she wants to fight her more. Like, she knows that she and Shiri are similar and that they could probably work together very well. But because they're not in the same faction, she's excited to fight her more and learn to grow more.
And I'm excited to see it.
Absolutely, because they're both incredible and they work so well together. We saw it in their singles match not long ago.
Can't wait, man, especially with the levels that Aya has gotten to.
Absolutely.
This is going to be great, and I love seeing Shiri pick up the win like this.
Me too. It was so nice to see Shiri get a pin. Lady C and Shiri with the win. This is their first time teaming up. And they talked about doing it more often. I guess Saki's not here, so Shiri needed someone to tag with.
Lucky Lady C.
Absolutely lucky Lady C. And Hanan and Saida talked about how they're the longest tenured tag team in this match, of course being Wingori, and how they're going to have to step up their game coming into Tag League because they want big things out of the Goddess of Stardom Tag League this year.
They do, and they're a great team. They always seem to come up a little short, like in the big one. But
it's hard in a multi-man because anyone can pin anyone at any time.
I can't wait to see what Wingori does, though.
Me either, and I'm so excited for Tag League. But this was just your normal 3-star match. It was fine. There was nothing wrong with it, but it was just kind of there in between these crazy matches.
I agree. There was nothing that made it bad.
Yeah, it was a nice little slowdown after that Hazuki thing.
Yeah, it was in this perfect spot.
You gotta think that Saida and Hanan might have been a little shaken up after seeing all that go down with Hazuki, maybe.
Yeah.
Following this, we got into the big championship matches, which is where things got even crazier, starting with the Wonder of Stardom title, Natsupoi versus Tekla. And this is the match where the crowd was kind of like, And, so were we, because it's hard to watch when you've got a one-on-one match, singles match, and just so much interference and cheating.
Yeah.
In one match. So Poi comes to the ring with this look on her face that's like straight, I'm gonna kill you.
Murder Poi. She
immediately gets in Tekla's face, and when the bell rings, Tekla spits in Poi's face. So there's like an early use of the bat to Natsupoi's midsection, followed by a spear, where Tekla's working on those muscles that obviously were still hurting from where Clark Connors speared Natsupoi 3 days ago.
Yes.
Before this, she spends a lot of time on that midsection. But I think she would have got a lot further if her first couple of pins weren't that ridiculous kneeling pin on top of her. It's so cocky, and it's not going to get the win.
Right.
Because you're not putting any weight.
And it's just being her.
Yes. Poi did try to fight back quite a bit, but Tekla, it continues to do hate-coded things. She used her belt on Natsupoi. She used her spiky mask from her walkout gear. As soon as Poi finally gets some space to get on the top, Hate climbs up there to pull her down. Thankfully, Cosmic Angels was out there because they quickly disposed of the Hate members that were all over Natsupoi, but it still took her down off of the top. So when she did a Fey Rail gift to the outside, Tekla had recovered enough to get out of the way, and Poi just splatted on the floor.
Yeah, and the frustration, one of the stories in this was the frustration building in Poi throughout the match.
Oh, yeah. She's so mad. Tekla gets the white belt and hits Poi with it, and then does something disgraceful with it that I will not repeat on this broadcast.
Poor baby White.
Poor baby White. So we hit the 10-minute mark of the match. They called 10 minutes in, and it's been all Tekla at this point.
Right.
It's been ridiculous. There's a spider suplex out of the corner. Tekla doing her taunting thing.
Oh, yeah.
She sits back up. Poi comes over and grabs her by the hair, pulls her back down into that Tree of Woe type position, and just kicks the crap out of her. I think this was the first sign of like frustrated Natsupoi.
Oh, yeah.
She was like, no, I'm not putting up with this anymore. So she tries a Fey Rail gift, but lands on Tekla's knees. They start throwing headbutts. Tekla hits her ridiculously loud elbow shot. And then a double foot curb stomp where it's like a curb stomp, but she put both feet on the back of Natsupoi's head and just rammed her down into the mat. It looked so nasty. And then she gets a full mount and just starts slapping Natsupoi in the face. She just uses this whole match to just be like, just to make Natsupoi cry, like she said.
Right.
The whole purpose, I don't think she even wants to win at this point. I think she's just here to break Natsupoi.
Yeah, it seems like she just wanted to frustrate her and us.
It was so annoying. Tekla looks for the spear again, but Natsupoi is able to counter with her incredible thrust kick that she hits. The Toxic Spider Death Drop countered into a Lamahi Straw, and then the pin gets broken up by Ruaka throwing that freaking black box onto Natsupoi in the ring. She's so mad. You could see it on her face. And she almost had the win here. And to get it broken up like that, her face.
The frustration was amazing.
Oh, she was so upset.
It was perfect right then.
They get up, meet in the middle, and hit a double knockout shot. So they're just both laying on the ground. Then they get up. Poi does her release German. Tekla hits a spear. There's another release German. They're just going back and forth. Natsupoi starts to go back to the top, but Hate comes over, so she stops. Doesn't get on the top rope. Cosmic Angels comes over and gets Hate out of the way so that Natsupoi can get up there, hit the Feral Gift, but Tekla kicks out. And then Poi is standing in front of Tekla in the corner. Tekla has that spiky mask behind her back, and she's begging Natsupoi for forgiveness and mercy. She's like, please don't do this. And she's like, she doesn't want to fight anymore. And at first, Natsupoi does like the crying thing where she covers her eyes and she's like hurt by this. She doesn't know what to do. She's torn. But then she takes a breath. She looks down at Tekla and just shakes her head.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Like no, you had your chance to make amends, and you ruined it.
It was glorious, yeah.
So Tekla gets that mask out. She's about to hit Natsupoi with it, and Natsupoi just beams her with a kick to the face.
Dude, she slayed her.
It was incredible. And then the Fey Rail gift follows that, and then she gets back on the top and does another Fay gift, but with like a corkscrew to it. There's like 4 flips or twists to this move. She lands on top of Tekla, gets the 1, 2, 3 for the pin, and retains Baby White, the Wonder of Stardom Championship.
So I think that this match obviously was a frustrating match, but it was everything it was supposed to be. I think Tekla did a wonderful job, as did Hate, with pissing us off, right?
Yes.
So we want to be pissed off. That's the whole thing.
We want to hate them. I think Tekla's whole agenda in this match was not to get the belt, just to anger Natsupoi and show that she's here just to kill idols.
Yeah, I mean, just establishing that was a great job. With that said, it has some memorable things in it, especially with Poi. I'll never forget her looking down and saying no. I will,
her frustration mounting throughout the match.
The yell of the frustration. I think when you can actually take the feeling of a crowd and you can pull, we were talking about them being quiet, you can pull in a frustration of a crowd.
Yeah.
Hold that in your hands, and something that you do is an extension of the crowd.
Right.
I think that's what pro wrestling, when it's hitting everything.
Absolutely.
And she yells right there. I was yelling.
Yeah, it's like she could feel it, and the crowd, it's like almost letting it out for the crowd.
Yeah, exactly.
And when she said no to Tekla and hit that kick to stop all of the cheating and use of weapons, it was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, we love when our baby faces learn.
Yeah, she definitely learned throughout this match, because she got knocked off the top by Hate early in the match, and then later in the match she stopped and waited for Cosmic Angels to remove them so she could go to the top uninterrupted. It was so cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. And it's one of those matches that the rating will not reflect how we actually feel about the work. The work was magnificent, and it was exactly what you want to see.
Yeah.
You can't rate this very high because of all the interference.
Oh, so frustrating.
It goes against our whole scale.
Absolutely. So this was like max a 2-star match. 2.5, 2 stars, like right in that range. It was.
But if we were rating on story improvement alone,
the storyline was really good.
Yeah.
But the match was hard to watch.
Yeah, from a match, I put those out there. You put those out there,
especially knowing what Natsupoi is capable of.
Because we want someone who's never watched to maybe go, okay, what did they say? Oh, let me watch that.
Right. This isn't a match you could just sit down and watch and enjoy.
You need to be well into the
outside of everything.
The Starverse.
Absolutely. And after this match, Natsupoi said that she doesn't care who Tekla brings or what Tekla does. She's going to continue to fight against her and Hate and whatever they're doing. Tekla told her to go fuck herself, essentially.
Yeah.
Because it's Tekla, and she left. And so Natsupoi still has the white belt. She had a little celebration there in the ring. You could tell she's still like upset about this whole thing going down. I think she really wanted to help Tekla before all of this. But I think we might see this come back around for historic crossover. We might see Natsupoi team up with someone to take on Tekla and Clark Connors maybe. But time will tell.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully it's ELP.
We still want Natsupoi ELP.
I think it makes all the sense in the world.
It does. They would make such a good team.
They would.
They do some amazing moves. I want to see them do the Meltier hand holding dive off the ropes.
Oh my god. Perfect. So, and speaking of perfect.
Oh man. We went on from this match into the semi-main event.
Hold on, I got to turn this color off. Now we're in black and white, folks.
Oh, perfect. Add a little grain to the sound, you know.
Here we go.
IWGP Women's Championship match. Timeless Toni Storm versus Mayu Iwatani.
How dare you?
A match 6 years in the making. Mayu Iwatani has been looking to get revenge for her losses to Toni Storm, including one in 2 minutes and 30 seconds where she dislocated her elbow and allowed Toni Storm to become the World of Stardom Championship champion in 2017. Completely unprecedented.
Yes.
They had a rematch for it in 2018 where Toni Storm also won in a regular match fashion. So Mayu Iwatani, up to this match, had never beat Toni Storm one-on-one. Like, I think she needed this.
It was, she needed to
for her championship run and for her ego, probably. So they get in there. They both look amazing.
Oh my
by the
God.
way, we got white gear for Mayu Iwatani.
She looks so great.
That she wears in her championship matches. Toni wearing her 50s bathing suit looking gear with the polka dots.
They actually matched.
They did. They looked like a tag team almost.
Everything about this match was cinema.
It was. It was so good.
There's visions I have in my head of this match where the ring lights are coming down and it just looks so good in that dark arena.
Yeah. You're envisioning it like an old school match where it's like all the pageantry and everything.
And everything in the match. Well, we'll let you tell.
All right. So this match started off with Toni Storm using her strength advantage over Mayu because she is the bigger, stronger competitor. Most people are with Mayu Iwatani. She's a very slender lady, but she's vicious. Don't get her wrong. So Toni Storm is throwing Mayu around, just using her strength, but Mayu continues to get up because she's Mayu Iwatani. She hits her drop kick against the ropes and then sits in the ring and like rings out her left arm. She's
Beautiful.
like, hey, look, it's all fine and
Beautiful
good.
Point that you picked out live. I loved it.
I like that they got it out of the way early. It was like they waited to the exact point in the match when it would have been in that match. She hit the drop kick again, but no elbow dislocation this time. She made sure that everyone could see that her arm was fine. She gets up, goes for a dive, but Toni stops her and hangs her on the apron and hits a hanging DDT onto the floor from the apron, followed by a big suplex onto the floor on Mayu. So Mayu's still on the back foot at this point. Toni gets her back in the ring, tries for an early hip attack, but Mayu catches her with a nasty crucifix driver.
Sick.
She just grabs you and flips you backwards so fast that there's nothing you can possibly do about it. Then she finally gets her dive to the outside, Mayu style, her tope suicida. She kind of goes sideways. I love the way she does it. They get back in, frog splash, but it can't get the pin on that.
Right, yeah.
Frog splash is just the first step. Toni headbutts Mayu Iwatani, which I hate, and then sinks in a very deep cloverleaf, Texas cloverleaf, sitting all the way down on Mayu Iwatani. It took her a while to get to the ropes, but when she does, she climbs to the top rope with Toni and hits a Hurricane Rana off the ropes with Toni, and then Toni picks her up, just picks her up and does a running power bomb, Himika style, into the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
They start exchanging kicks that look like they hurt, and then Mayu hits the nastiest looking bridging German suplex. Like, her bridge looks like it hurts her.
It's so perfect though.
And that gets a near fall. Then she throws Toni into the ropes, rebound German suplex for another near fall, and then hits her with that massive thrust kick of hers.
Oh yeah.
Like where she's touching the ground with her hands.
So gorgeous.
Mayu calls for the finish at this point, throws her hands out. Finish. Time for the finish. She hits a normal dragon suplex, doesn't get the count, and then she pulls Toni over for the moonsault, which is a big move in Mayu's arsenal, but Toni moves out of the way, so Mayu hits the mat, just splats right on the mat. Toni gets up, but Mayu's able to get up and hit a sling blade, repositions Toni, and hits the moonsault on the second attempt for another near fall, and then she's frustrated at this point. She's like, okay, I just want to finish this match.
Yeah.
She picks Toni Storm up for the two-step dragon suplex, but Toni's able to reverse it into a German suplex, and then she hits a Storm Zero, but she's unable to capitalize at this point. She hits it, and they both immediately hit the floor.
Big double downy.
So Mayu's like off in space at this point. She tried her moonsault. She almost got the dragon suplex, the two-step dragon suplex. Toni hit her with a Storm Zero. They're both laying down. They have to slowly get up. They don't get up till the count of 9 at this point. They're both like just out of breath. They start trading forearms, and then Toni grabs Mayu and hits another Storm Zero.
Yes.
Gets on top of her for the pin, and Mayu kicks out at 1. What?
Yeah. Storm Zero is normally the finish.
Storm Zero is Toni Storm's finish.
Yeah.
She hits it. Yeah. This is the second one that Mayu's taken in this match, and she kicks out at 1. I screamed when this happened.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So Toni, she's like, okay, you want it that way? She hits Mayu Iwatani with 3 consecutive Storm Zeros. 3 in a row. Sits down on her, pulls up the leg. 1, 2, Mayu Iwatani kicks out.
Ridiculous.
Just rolls her shoulder off the mat. It's like instinct at this point.
It's ridiculous because here's the thing. That crowd, when she hit the 3 Storm Zeros.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were all like, oh, okay.
Because she had hit the 1, there was the kick out. When you hit those 3,
yeah,
after the glorious match we've seen,
yeah,
that's it. It's over. Tony's winning the IWGP belt. They're already thinking about where's the rematch going to be. I bet they're going to do it on 1-4. Like everybody's done.
Right, they're over. The match is over.
And they're fine with it, but you can hear kind of like, aw.
Yeah.
And just this kick out. We talk about false finishes, Raja.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't get more falsy finisher than when you hit a finisher that normally finishes.
Yes, with 1.
And you hit 3 of the damn things. It's like Stone Cold Steve Austin hitting 3 stunners and brother kicking out,
Right.
It was a big deal.
Maybe the 3rd one woke her back up. I don't know.
It was a big deal. I love it.
I think it highlights beautifully, though, what Waka Tsukiyama was talking about when the match first started, when they asked her how Tony could beat Mayu, but she just went on to talk about how no matter how many times you knock Mayu down, she continues to get back up. Like she's always standing, is what she said. So Mayu Iwatani is not an easy person to put down, especially for the IWGP Women's Championship. The way she looks when she has to hand that belt away to the referee at the beginning of the match just shows you how much she loves this championship and what she wants to do with it. And this match is a testament to that as well, I think.
I think she's making it the world title.
So after this, Tony's like, okay. So she puts Mayu in the corner for a hip attack because what else is she going to do at this point? She kicked out of 3 Storm Zeros. But Mayu's able to stop her from hitting that hip attack, climbs to the top rope, hits the Fubuki Rana for the 1-2-3 to retain the IWGP Women's Championship.
And that move is
the most glorious move.
It's so incredible. That move you don't kick out of.
No. You can't just kick out of the Fubuki Rana.
No, it's sick, man. And god dang this match. I mean,
it was so good.
Hats off to both ladies, and
seeing it twice just made it even better.
Toni Storm just showing honest to God. And just no hyperbole. Listen, Toni Storm, this is my favorite Toni Storm match ever. Yeah,
it was amazing. It shows just how much that these two have grown and changed since they first fought back then, 2017.
It's an amazing Mayu Iwatani match. Not my favorite Mayu Iwatani match, but
yes, they both went their separate ways on different paths, and have come back here as 2 of the biggest women's wrestlers in the world.
Oh yeah.
And met at this place. It's just so cool. Just the feeling of it.
Just incredible. And now I'll give you the floor for the beautiful part.
So Mayu has defended for the 7th time, and she thanks Toni Storm for the match. But in Mayu Iwatani fashion, as she's getting up, she puts her hand on top of the winner's trophy, and there's just this crack. And she just looks at the trophy as it's sitting there broken in her hand.
It's so beautiful.
The crowd all laughed.
Comic.
That's including her accidentally saying Korakuen Hall at first instead of Nagoya. She corrected herself.
Yeah.
But she's so funny. But it's hard to blame her after a match like that. You're like out of it completely. So she thanks Toni for the match, and she says in English, she said, "Thank you, Toni Storm. I'm so happy." Like it was just this feeling about it. She gives Toni the microphone, and Toni makes it a point to tell her that she is not a baka bitch. She's a good bitch. And she also says she's an icon and the best IWGP women's champion. And she says that she respects Mayu Iwatani more than any other wrestler on this planet. And then she tells Mayu she loves her and does a nice deep bow to thank her for the match. And then they hug, and there's like that sort of like crying shake to the hug, and Mayu's just smiling. She's so happy, and she's like holding Toni Storm, and then Toni leaves, and it just, I don't know. It was this big moment about it that was almost like Toni had been working this whole time to get back and prove to Mayu that she is worthy of being the one that beat her all those years ago.
Yeah. I agree.
Just felt so big and nice.
I
special.
Agree. I think Mayu Iwatani did some really cool things for Tony years ago.
Yeah.
And I think this was paying that back with Tony being who she is now, which is one of the greatest women's pro wrestlers.
Definitely one of the most popular.
Yeah. I mean, and she's done it herself.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else's idea. I mean, this is Tony. Yeah. And Tony has made this into something that's so big, and it's still so early. She's still so young.
I know.
That's
crazy.
The sick part of it. They
both are really young still.
They're both super young, and they both have a long time left.
Yeah.
And to have done all the things they've done, it's just beautiful. I can't wait to see them go again.
Yeah, this gives you the feeling like when I go back to watch like a match from the 80s or 90s where it's like a big respectful match where these two have been waiting to face each other or whatever, and then after the match they hug and stuff. Like that felt like this felt like that for me.
Yeah, this is the kind of match I would go back and watch 20 years from now that would make me want to watch everything else.
Yeah, it was so good. It wasn't like typical Stardom match craziness from start to finish, but they built it perfectly. The pace was amazing. The moments were there 100%. And it's just a match that sticks with you emotionally and it stays in your mind. Like I've been thinking about it since we watched it. I've seen it twice and I still can't stop thinking about it. It's amazing. This is a 5-star match.
Hands down, 5 stars.
5-star match all the way. It was the match of the night, in my opinion.
Absolutely. It was the main event to me. So,
but it wasn't the actual main event because we still have a World of Stardom Championship match.
That did not disappoint.
To get through, featuring Tam Nakano as the champion, taking on Suzu Suzuki, and these two have had many, many words leading into this match. There's been a Suzu doll created. You know, it's been insanity between these two.
I love it.
So they get in the ring. Introductions get through. They're each standing in their corner. And they just stand there after the bell rings and look at each other. Like, there's no angry faces or anything. They're just standing in their respective corners, just looking at each other. And at first the crowd is like yelling the names that they want. They start chanting different names. There's like Tam here and Suzu there, you know. And then like they fall into a hush because it's like they don't really know what's happening. And then they start clapping like you would traditionally after the lockup at the beginning of a Joshi match. So they just start clapping, and finally Tam and Suzu are like, all right, let's go. It was cool, like the way they just sort of let it sink in after all of this craziness that's gone on between them. So the moment they touch, Suzu takes Tam to the ground and gets her in a full mount, and she raises her fist in the air and just like one hand on Tam's throat essentially, like she's gonna just punch through her face to the mat, which she tries to do, but Tam is able to move out of the way, so Suzu ends up just punching the mat, which I don't know how long the match would have been if she had landed that punch.
She definitely did it was a nasty punch on the mat.
It was. They struggle with each other. They're going back and forth, grappling, end up on their feet, put their foreheads together, you know, pushing back and forth, then just start throwing straight forearms, just back and forth, hitting the crap out of each other. There's a couple of back and forth snapmares where they're like, snapmare, bridge up to the feet, reverse snapmare, bridge up to the feet. They do it a couple of times. And then Suzu is able to kick Tam Nakano, send her over to the ropes, get her drive-by running kick from the like side of the stadium on the apron. And now they're just outside. They're just outside of the ring, brawling at this point. Suzu throws Tam's head into a table.
So much fun.
She steals something from a fan and tries to hit Tam with it, but completely misses.
Yeah.
They throw each other into the ring posts, and then Tam takes Suzu all the way around to the stage where because she does her running knee from up on the ramp. She loves doing that, where she puts someone down there and she goes all the way up, runs down the ramp, hits the running knee, but Suzu cuts her off with a super kick, like halfway down the ramp, and then she runs down the ramp and kicks her again. So Suzu's on top at this point. She finally throws Tam back into the ring and walks around the ring to the other side and pulls out a table and sets it up on the outside of the ring with only one leg extended in like a ramp position, which is never ideal with tables.
Very scary.
Tam, when Suzu gets back up there, she hangs her from the top rope with her sleeper hold that she does. And then Tam tries to tiger suplex Suzu off the apron into that table. But Suzu's able...
She's a crazy woman.
She's able to block it. And then she blocks a running knee from Tam and sends her through the table instead with a dolphin buster, which is like one arm in one arm. Turn him around, throw him back first.
Absolutely.
Through the table. It looked so nasty the way that table broke. I mean, it broke in half, essentially, but it was a hard bump. It was a hard fall. Tam took a while to get over that. So Suzu takes half of the wood from the ring, or from the table, back into the ring, and she smashes it over Tam's head as she's trying to get back in the ring. And then Suzu tosses the table all willy-nilly outside of the ring, and it hits poor Sayaka Kurara in the face. She had to go backstage because she was bleeding. Suzu does not care about collateral damage.
No, she does not.
So she hits the tequila shot at this point for a near fall for Suzu, and then she goes to the top. There's an avalanche German suplex, followed by her double German suplex with the bridge, but Tam is able to roll out of that pin.
And it was this point second. I'm really feeling Suzu has the chance, right?
Right.
It's like...
she's on top.
To take Suzu from where she was stagnant in her career, it felt.
Yeah.
To being up to where everybody's buying it. We're all believing it. And it's like, oh, hey, this is Suzu Suzuki.
She could be the World of Stardom champion. Yeah. She held up the belt at one point during the match on the outside. It just looks right. It has a feel.
I love the fact that this happened like this, and especially, like I said, this part of the match is where I remember being like, oh shit.
Yeah, that big German suplex followed by the two bridging Germans, which Suzu has used to win matches before, where she rolls over and does the second one, but Tam is able to get out. Suzu sets her up for a Sky Twister press, which she's been trying to get all year in matches and just has not been able to land one. But so she didn't hear either. Tam came up behind her, Tiger suplexes her off of the ropes. They're both laying on the ground. Taichi starts the 10 count, and they're both so beat up at this point that they climb Daichi at the count of 9. Like, they're both tugging on his clothes, trying to get to their feet. They both manage it to get up there. Tam hits her massive spin kick and a Tiger suplex. Suzu gets out at 1. Suzu hits a Poison Rana. Tam kicks out at 1. There are 3 big backdrop suplexes from Tam, wearing Suzu down with each consecutive one. You can see her like starting to lose steam every single time she hits that backdrop suplex, and she barely rolls out of the pin on the last one. So Tam hits a violet screwdriver. Suzu kicks out. She hits a violet shooting knee. Then the big boy hammerlock is in. Twilight Dream. 1, 2, 3. Tam Nakano retains the World of Stardom Championship.
Amazing match.
It was.
It did everything it needed to build up to where we wanted it to be. And, you know, Suzu again is up there at that upper echelon. And Tam is Tam, dude. Tom. She is absolutely the champion.
She is. She's cemented herself in these last few matches. That's like, she barely had any matches so far with this belt, and already it's like a crazy run that she's had.
It's Tam's belt.
It is. We're on Tam Road. Part 2.
We're absolutely on Tam Road. It feels right. And when you put the fact of having Tam Nakano as red belt champion and having a worker like Mayu Otani as IWGP champion, having Natsupoi as a white belt. I mean, Jesus.
The championship lineup in Stardom right now is choice.
It's amazing because you know you're going to be getting incredible matches.
Yes.
Incredible stories.
And I love that none of the big titles changed hands on this show, because the Future of Stardom title did change hands.
Yeah.
But there's been a lot of like back and forth
flip-flops
with the titles lately, and I love that we're just cementing these titles with Natsupoi and Tam. Mayu's had the IWGP for a while, but it just feels so big and like important right now where we're at. And this match with Suzu definitely gave Suzu back that badge of like, I'm gonna beat you up. I'm the big power fighter. She made it known that she's not gonna back down from a challenge.
Yeah, she's the epitome of a puncher's chance.
Absolutely. And after this match, Tam said she called Suzu annoying, ridiculously strong, young, a genius, and told her she has a bright future. And she told her that she would accept Suzu Suzuki's challenge anytime she wanted to throw it out, and that she would face her as many times as she wants. Because I guess now Tam has started to believe in Suzu more than she did before, because she thought Suzu was just a quitter.
Right.
But Suzu came back and said that when Tam slapped her, it ruptured her eardrum, so she couldn't hear a thing she said, and that she could imagine what she said. And she said that she definitely will be back to face Tam again, which, she's not done, I don't think, by a mile with this championship scene.
An amazing match. It was, I don't know where you put it, but
I would definitely say that it's a 4-star match.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't, like, you got to think about Tam Micah, and that was a 5-star match. But this one definitely lived up to the build that they gave it. It had every bit of the brawling that we wanted to see. It had Suzu going back to her roots, using the table and all that. Like, she didn't go super crazy with weapons or anything, but she showed Tam that she is capable of fighting her and capable of possibly beating her if she had just that one little chance to get one over on her. They both flipped each other off after the match, which I thought was funny, because Tam covered her finger when she did it. Like, Suzu's just out here flipping the bird everywhere, but Tam put her hand in front of her finger so nobody could actually see it.
Very Tam thing to do.
Yes, very Tam. So 4-star match to end the night. I think it was a great way to end the pay-per-view. A pay-per-view that was incredible.
Oh yeah.
The whole way through. I loved this show so much. And like I said, I'm still like living off the high of that Mayu Tony match. I can't get over it.
Yeah, no, it was a great pay-per-view all the way through.
And we got so many stories coming out of it and things just going forward. Oh, I'm so excited.
I know.
The rest of the year is going to be insane. I can feel it.
It's just because everything's hitting on all cylinders.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the stories are building. We're building for the biggest time of the year.
Yes, because you got Tag League, you got Dream Queendom, and then we're going straight into Wrestle Kingdom week.
It's amazing.
And we don't have another Stardom show until the 11th, so next weekend. They're going to be in Osaka. No card or anything for that yet, but they get a little break after this massive show, and the performances they put on, they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I loved this show. I loved everything about it.
If you haven't seen it.
Yes, it'll be up on Stardom World in a couple of days if you want to wait for the archive instead of buying it. I don't know if you can still buy it on the pay-per-view site, but it's so worth the watch from start to finish. If anything, absolutely, the Starlight Kid match and the Mayu Iwatani match are must-sees. 100%.
I think I might go back and watch it in Japanese.
Just to see.
So, because they should both be on Stardom World.
They should be.
And just to go through and get it with the Japanese commentary too. Nothing against the English commentary, but sometimes,
Right.
I'm just so used to it.
Yeah, you can kind of tune it out a little bit, and then every once in a while you hear like Brainbuster, and you're like, yeah. But what were your thoughts? How did you feel about this pay-per-view? We want to know. We want to know your thoughts.
Yeah, no, it's right with you. Everything built right. The pacing was good, and the matches delivered.
Absolutely.
And that was the thing. Nothing under-delivered. You could say that the Poi match, but that was exactly what I thought it was going to be.
Yes.
And I think that it's a good thing when you're going to have a centerpiece such as the IWGP title, the red belt. We need to build to these things, and it happened, and we got so much story coming out of it. Whenever you have a show, regular show, pay-per-view, and you're coming out of it thinking, you're remembering the glory of the match, but you're also thinking about what's next.
Right.
What does that mean? What's this going to be? That's what pro wrestling is.
It is, absolutely.
And this checked all those boxes for me.
Yeah, and it's easy to just focus on the big matches, but then you have to think back, and you're like, there's that future match, and then Sayaka Kurara getting her ear whispered into by Saya Kamatani. It takes so much just from the bottom of the card all the way to the top. But we want to thank you for listening to this review on Wrestling Is Her with us. We want to know what you guys think about this pay-per-view, how you felt about everything that went down, what you think is going to happen next. Do you think they're going to do mask versus hair? Who do you think everyone's going to team up with at Historic Crossover? All that fun stuff. So make sure you let us know. Follow us at Wrestling Is Her on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube, all the places. It's all at Wrestling Is Her. We had a fantastic time here, and we cannot wait to come back with more of that good Joshi content next week. Whenever there's something going on, you'll hear from us. But for now, I'm Raja, he's John, and thank you so much for listening to Wrestling Is Her. Bye!